Smosh has an entire series where they read Reddit stories and react like normal people. Obviously, the next logical step is for me to psychoanalyze them. So today, we're gonna determine whether these Reddit users have imposter syndrome, attachment issues, or a podcast about high-value men. Let us pretend I have the answers.
PSA, if you're the friend who blocks guys from talking to your attractive friend, you're not protecting anyone. You're just being controlling.
I want you to pay attention to something. Before he tells us what happened, listen to how he introduces himself.
I need to vent about something that happened last weekend, and I'm curious if other guys have experienced this. I'm 31, have a decent career, been told I'm good looking, and generally don't have issues meeting people. I've had my fair share of success dating and usually feel pretty confident in social situations.
Now, the implicit logic here is, given who I am, this thing I'm about to talk about shouldn't have happened to me, right? A more neutral opening might be, I met someone at a bar and something confusing happened. But instead, we got a resume, his quote-unquote market value. Like, listen guys, this is a competent, attractive, socially successful man. Therefore, if something went wrong, the explanation and the blame must lie outside of him. He's reinforcing his self-image before talking about something that challenged it. We're getting some strong manosphere vibes already.
But last Saturday at this club downtown, I encountered something that just blew my mind. There was this absolutely stunning woman at the bar. Let's call her Sarah. She was clearly interested, making eye contact, smiling when I looked at her, the whole 9 yards. So I walk over to introduce myself, and immediately this other woman, let's call her Fridge.
And he immediately reduces her to an object.
Literally steps between us. She's not interested, the Fridge says, arms crossed like a bouncer. But here's the thing, Sarah was clearly interested. She was giving me the look, you know? She even tried to step around her friend to continue our conversation, but the Fridge kept repositioning herself like some kind of human wall. This went on for 20 minutes. Every time I tried to have a normal conversation with Sarah, the Fridge would interrupt with, she has a boyfriend. She didn't. She's not looking to meet anyone tonight. She obviously was. Or just physically blocking access. The most frustrating part? Sarah looked genuinely annoyed with her friend's behavior too. At one point, she literally mouthed sorry to me over the Fridge's shoulder. I've seen this before, but never this extreme. It's like some women have appointed themselves as the official gatekeeper to their attractive friends. They act like they're protecting them, but from what? A normal conversation with a respectful guy? Look, I get it if a guy is being creepy or aggressive, then absolutely step in, but I was being completely respectful. Sarah was clearly interested, and this woman was just blocking for the sake of blocking. I genuinely don't understand the psychology here. The worst part is that it's not just hurting the guy, it's taking away Sarah's ability to make her own decisions about who she wants to talk to. Honestly, it's making me want to avoid group approaches entirely.
Yeah. Okay.
Walk away.
Yeah.
Do you guys like my new office? One of the subscribers was kind enough to make this set for me, and honestly that's so cool. That's one of my favorite things about making these videos. People keep finding ways to contribute to the series, which is good because these videos take forever to make, and YouTube usually responds by taking away the ad revenue. Unfortunately, I enjoy making them anyway. So if you'd like to see more, supporting the channel genuinely helps. But anyways, I really like posts like this because the OP's own language reveals so much about the structure of his thinking. It's fascinating. So already the women are not introduced as two people interacting with him. Instead, they're introduced as the woman he wants and the thing preventing him from getting her. And I'm being generous here because even Sarah is not really a person in his story. She's simply a beautiful woman who appears attracted to him. And look at how certain he is before he even approaches her. She was clearly interested. Not I thought she might be interested, not I got the impression she was interested. She was clearly interested. Even the possibility that maybe this girl was not attracted to him never enters the narrative. Everything in this story is orbiting around his experience and his perception.
This comes from True Off My Chest, and it was posted in 2022. My wife and everyone else thinks I got laid off, but really I quit so I could make a go at being a Twitch streamer full time. Don't quit your job to do Twitch.
No.
All right. My wife doesn't follow or know anything about Twitch or video games at all. She doesn't have any knowledge of or connection to the industry I used to work in. She is a paramedic, so she works different shifts and does not know I stream at times when she is not home. Her salary is enough to cover our bills, although things will be a bit tighter until I start making money on my stream. I'm not going to tell anyone until I'm bringing in enough money that I can do it full time. I have never been happier and not stressed as I am now.
Okay, so full disclosure, as someone who gave up pursuing a PhD to follow YouTube instead, I understand OP's feelings really well. But OP seems too optimistic and confident that this will work out. And that kinda almost looks like a defense mechanism to me, because optimism can sometimes function defensively, like he's protecting himself from the possibility of failure. It's almost as if the fantasy of success is so emotionally necessary that fully confronting the risk would feel unbearable. So yeah, his confidence might be helping him manage anxiety or guilt, especially given how high the stakes are.
It's easy for me to lock myself in my home office and say I'm networking and job hunting when I'm really streaming if my wife and or my 3-year-old is home.
Oh my god, he has a 3-year-old child. You know, it's okay to follow your dreams and all of that, but having a life-changing decision like that when you have a child that depends on you is so risky. This is why I'm against getting married early, before your identity forms to at least some extent. Because unstable identity can create unstable commitments. If someone enters marriage or parenthood before they've developed at least some durable sense of what they want, what they value, and what sacrifices they can tolerate, situations like this happen, where unresolved desires come up with enormous force.
If she's not working or my daughter is not at daycare, it's harder, but I make it work. I feel a bit guilty for lying, but I have wanted to do this for a long time. No one that I know in real life knows. Obviously posting this with a throwaway. Oh.
You see that inhale thing in everyone's reaction to the story? That's because this is a very tragic situation. His desires are so real. Like he says, I've never been happier and less stressed as I am now. That's why this is so painful. It's a collision between self-actualization and obligation. And sometimes adulthood just forces you to painfully realize that not every authentic desire can be pursued without cost. And underneath all of this, there's another layer. Desires themselves can become psychologically dangerous when they transform into a have to. You know, the moment a dream becomes the only version of life that I can live, it distorts my ability to navigate towards it. Because the fear of failure becomes so unbearable that I can look at it. And if I can't look at it, it means I'm not able to do a correct risk assessment, which often makes someone fail. It's really interesting how much of our suffering comes from our inability to face things directly. Now, I want to be clear. My position is not don't follow your dreams, because at the end of the day, every decision carries some form of loss. So you might as well go through with the one that feels better for you. But at least make sure others don't have to pay the price. So I guess my position would be closer to this. Think more about what following your dreams will cost for you and people around you. And don't romanticize decisions without accounting for their consequences.
This comes from Ask Reddit. So the post is actually a question that's asked and the comments will give answers. Okay, they write, what's your secret that could literally ruin your life if it came out? Someone commented, I run a cake business. I charge people hundreds for wedding cakes. Every last one is made using Pillsbury cake mix I buy for $1 a box at Walmart. I suck at baking. Every time I've ever tried to make a cake from scratch, it sucked. But baking is like my whole deal. My friends all call me the cake girl. It's like my whole life is a lie.
Whoa, that was a huge jump from I use cake mix to my whole life is a lie, right? Plenty of professional bakers use pre-made ingredients, but plenty of successful businesses are built on shortcuts, efficiencies, and industry tricks. So why is she having an identity crisis over cakes? Because she's measuring authenticity through effort and process rather than outcome. She's making her identity into something that must be constantly earned. This usually happens when you turn an activity into a part of your identity, because now any imperfection in that specific activity can start feeling like a flaw in the self.
People compliment my cakes all the time, telling me how delicious they are, telling me it's so much better than box mix cake, telling me they could never bake a cake so delicious. Well, guess what? For $1, they too can make a cake just as delicious. Just add oil, eggs, and water. In my defense, I love cake decorating. I make all of the frostings and fondant from scratch. I just hate baking cakes. I base my prices mostly on the decoration of the cakes and not on the cake itself, if that makes sense.
Okay, now we start seeing the split between what she actually values and what she thinks she's supposed to value. Also, she keeps describing herself as a baker, but everything she says suggests she's actually an artist. She doesn't enjoy baking, she enjoys designing and decorating them. And ironically, she's judging herself according to a standard that may have nothing to do with her actual talent. It's like if a filmmaker felt like a fraud because they didn't build the camera. This usually happens when people have a very narrow definition of competence. They become fixated on that one area where they feel inadequate and use it to invalidate every other area where they genuinely excel. And here she's overlooking the thing she's actually good at because it doesn't match the image of what she thinks a real cake professional should be.
Still, no one knows about this except my husband. Even my best friends think I slave over the oven mixing and baking these damn cakes. I have been doing this for years. If anyone knew, my business and reputation would be in the toilet for sure. I keep telling myself I have to learn how to make the damn cakes without the box mixes, but I never do it. I feel like such a sham sometimes. Whoa.
This person is raging out.
I can't believe myself.
My f***ing friends call me Cake Girl.
I think the real issue here is that she's created a version of a real baker in her head, and she's constantly comparing herself to that idealized image. Since she doesn't believe she's a talented baker, every compliment feels like an accusation. Like she's kind of standing there mentally correcting everyone. She's like, no, you're complimenting the wrong thing. You think you're praising my baking skill, but really you're just praising Pillsbury. And the problem here is that she's treating the compliment as praise for the process rather than praise for the result. While most customers don't really care how difficult something was to make, they care whether the final product is good. And idealized identities are brutal because they're almost impossible to satisfy. Right now, her idealized version of a real baker is someone who makes everything from scratch. Okay, what if she learns to bake from scratch? Then a real baker develops their own recipes. Then a real baker uses only premium ingredients. Then a real baker never takes shortcuts. The finish line keeps moving, and this happens because she's treating identity as something that must be proven, rather than something that can simply be lived. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video.